Hi, my name is Dr. Palmere. I am the founder and creator of an educational program called Space Voyage, also the group leader and CEO of an international hosting company called Partner Web Hosting. We're going to do a demonstration of how to use Testmoz and ChatGPT to help create the data to be able to import questions, multiple choice questions, into Testmoz. So we're assuming that you understand a little bit about Excel, a little bit about Testmoz, how to create a multiple choice question, so forth. This video was really created for Matt, the creator of Testmoz test platform, which is an online testing service. Today's date is April 11th. We're mid-morning. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to share a course that I created, which is called, the class is actually about how to become a webmaster for Partner Web Hosting. It's Fundamentals 1A. This is a course that's offered to people who are in the fundamentals level of learning about how to be a web builder. After we created the course, then we went into creating a test bank. So we have exam questions for each of the different chapters. And so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on that. So when we focus on the chapters, the exam questions, what we did was we prepared this as a working document such that it would allow me to use this as a working document to be able to use these questions in Testmoz that would help me to allow my students to work independently. So we have the question, and then we have four foils or four choices, and then we specify the answer, and then we specify the explanation. In Testmoz, creating multiple choice questions, this is the information that you need for a perfect setup for a question. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring over ChatGPT and show you where we are with ChatGPT. So what we did with ChatGPT is we're able to, we could use GPT-4 or we could use GPT 3.5. Here we're hoping to use GPT-4, the AI language model, but it turns out that it's pretty hard to use because you only get a few prompts and then it tells you to come back in 2 hours. So we dropped down to here, and what we did was we said, how do we get this to work? So we started out trying to create a prompt. A prompt is a query in ChatGPT. Basically ask it a question or set it up so you can get something done. So I tried one, create a data table that can be copied into an Excel spreadsheet with the question in row 1, cell 1A. Well, it doesn't actually understand that. The language model isn't a mathematics model. So we ended up getting this, which is wrong, because what we need is something quite different. How do I create a prompt to tell GPT-4 where to put certain datum from is spelled a multiple choice question? So it basically, GPT 3.5 said, format the data from multiple choice question of specific structure. You need to provide a clear and detailed prompt that includes the desired layout and placement for each element of the question. For example, using a previous question for answers you can provide. So here's the prompt. Okay, so create a data table that can be copied in Excel, a spreadsheet with a question in row 1, cell 1A, so forth. So it actually created this. And this is wrong. So then I said recreate it so that answers are in column C. And so it created here. So here we have the question. If we delete this column, we have the question. We have the area where we put the unit value. In my case, I use 1. We have a space here to indicate with an asterisk which one of these is correct. And then we have the next question. So what I did then was I said, do the same thing for the next set of questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this live. I'm going to go back to my Word document. I'm going to grab the questions and break them up into groups of 10. So hold on for a second. I'll be right back. So what I have here is my Chapter 7 questions, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them. I'm going to copy them to about here. Control C, and then here I'm going to put a marker 2, and then I'm going to, actually this is an error. I had to continue within chat. If it stalls, you say continue. So this is the end here. So we're going to go from here to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all the questions from Chapter 7. I'm going to grab all of them. There's 20 questions, or 15 questions, I should say. I'm going to Control C. We're going to put them in Notepad, Control V. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come through here. We're going to modify these questions so that all we have are questions. So we're going to take out all of the answers and the explanations. We're going to hope that this helps with the formatting of it. So we have this from the document that we need for inserting the explanation into TestMoz, but we're going to set it up like this. Just remove all the answers and explanations so that it will run. Now, if we don't do this, we have to do it all by hand, and it's quite tedious. So I'm going to leave the 2 there because that's a marker of where I'm going to copy from. But I'm going to remove all this extraneous data. I had attempted to try to do it where you could leave this data in and tell it to ignore it, but it doesn't really work too well that way. It's kind of sporadic in how it worked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just clean it up here. And you're either going to spend time in the Excel spreadsheet preparing it to be a CSV for import, or we're going to spend the time here. This way we're going to spend a lot less time. So we're going to continue. I think there's 15 questions altogether. And here's stall. So we're going to put this where it belongs. So there's the rest of that question. And then here's, when you're using ChatGPT, if you ask it too long of a question, it will stall. You can tell it to continue, but it's better to just give it smaller bits. So there's all the questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up to where the marker is for 2. There's 2. So we're going to grab all the data that's before the marker. Control C. Then we're going to come into our ChatGPT here. And we're going to basically tell it, because we got it to work here, we're going to tell it, edit here, and then we're going to delete all these questions. We have to actually try to delete it twice in order to get it to work for some reason. I don't know why. That's just the way it is. So now what we're going to do is we're going to Control V, paste it here. And if you look at the beginning, do same for next set of questions. It's not really good grammar, but it seems to work. So we're going to submit it, and then here's this is live now. So it's giving us the correct format. We have the question with a space to put the value of the question. We have spaces to put an asterisk. I'm not clever enough to know how to tell it to put an asterisk next to the correct answer. I wish I did. I am clever enough to tell it to put a 1 in this, but tends to stall on other things. So putting a 1 there is very simple. Sometimes it will put A, B, C, D here, which is a real pain because that's a manual edit with when you're inside of Excel. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wait for it, and we're just going to let it generate this table, which is a wonderful thing because otherwise we have to copy and paste each STEM question in each foil. It's going to take a long time. So we're going to highlight all this, holding the mouse down, and we're going to just go to here, Control C, and then we're going to bring in our Excel spreadsheet that we've already prepared. It's just a blank XLS spreadsheet, SLXX, and we're going to paste it into cell 1, and there it is. Now when we come this way, if we click on this column, we can tell it to make it so that it's left justified, and we can put the 1s in here if we want to. We can just come down and just put a 1 in, put a 1 in, put a 1 in, and so forth. And then if we know the answers, we can put an asterisk here. that is malware, so we could put an asterisk there if we wanted to. We're going to come down here to the bottom here. We only got 8 questions so far, so we're going to move this out of the way. We're going to go back to. We're going to move this out of the way. We're going to go back to here. We don't need this anymore. So we're going to come to here. We're going to go to, here's 2. So that's our marker. So we're going to copy the rest. And we're going to Control C it. And then we're going to come back into ChatGPT. And we're going to come up to the prompt. We're going to edit the prompt. And we're in ChatGPT 3.5. So we don't have an issue with having X number of prompts. Started out, they gave you 200 in GPT-4. It gave you 200 things, and then they reduced to 100. Then they reduced it. Now it's like 20. So if you can make it work in 3.5, that's a great thing. So this is live, and it's giving it again. It's correct. It's giving us the test question here, and then it's giving us we're going to delete this column so we can import it. So for right now, we're just going to use it as it is. We're just going to wait for it, think positively about this ChatGPT. You can actually create a prompt and it will be correct, and then you can create a new chat up here, create a new chat with same prompt, and it won't be correct. And I'm not sure why. I think it has to do with the reasoning power of the AI model. Now if we go back to here, what is the primary benefit of using intrusion detection systems? That's the last question. We can see here that it didn't get the last question, right? So we're going to stop here. What is the main purpose of implementing control? So we're here. So we're just missing this last question. So we're going to run it again just with the last question. So we'll copy. I'm holding down, I started at the bottom, holding down the left mouse button, and then drawing it across. I just want the ones that have good answers, correct, formatted correctly. And then we're going to come up to the top. We don't need the top, we don't need the ABC, so we're just going to copy that, Control C. And then we're going to come over to the Excel spreadsheet, put it in the next cell, Control V. Now we have 8 plus 54. So what is that divided by 5? That's the total number. So what we're going to do is we'll just move that out of the way for a second, and we'll come over here and we'll grab this last question. We're going to grab this is the last question that we needed. Control C. We're going to come back up to here. We're going to go to the question, the prompt, and we're going to click on Edit. And then we're going to delete all of this. Delete it. And then we're going to paste in this one question. And we're going to submit it. And it's correct again. It's giving it's correct. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't recognize the columns in the data table. Sometimes it will give letters here, A, B, C, D. See here, this one didn't give a number, but this one gave a number. This one gave a number, which basically means that wow, that's weird, because all I did was ask it this one question here. What is the primary benefit of intrusion detection systems in website security? And it gave me some other things. We don't care about the other things, because when we look at the data table, I don't know where that came from. Where did that come from? It's not in any of my questions here. That's not a question in my test bank, so I don't know where it came from. That's a ChatGPT issue. So you have to have some expertise when you use ChatGPT. If you don't have expertise, then it's garbage in, garbage out. We're going to ignore the question that it just kind of gave us. So it makes no sense, but it did this correctly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to save this as here. We're going to save it as Webmaster Exam Chapter 7 R2. So I'm going to go to File, Browse, Save As, Browse, and I'm going to, I have all these other ones. I'm going to save this. I'm saving it as an XLSX file, and the reason for that is because we're going to import it into, it already exists, so we're going to write over it. We are going to import it into TestMoz, the online test management system, using a CSV file. But for right now, we want to be able to manipulate this file, so we want to leave it in the best format that we can. So now what we're going to do is, if we go back to for chapter 7, if we go back to the test bank, I'm going to get that now. Okay, so I've tidied up the screen. So what I have over here is I have the chapter 7 R2 XLSX, and I'm going to go to the top, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my my chapter test over here. And if you're not familiar with TestMoz, then you can see that what TestMoz wants for an import is a CSV file in UTF-8 format for lettering, for alphabet. It doesn't want this, so we can get rid of this. We can just delete it. And now we have the correct format. We have the question, and then over here it wants a point value. I'm saying it's going to be 1. I'm going to correct it by going home and then making it big for a second so I can do what I want to do. And then I'm going to make it left, make this left justified, make it smaller again, so I can see here we have a 1 here. So first thing we'll do is we'll just put a 1 in every single, come on, we'll put a 1 in every single question. So if we just, come on, if we just come down and see we have a 1 here, a 1 here. We can make them different values. If we wanted to add up to, say, like 100 points, we can make the questions add up to 100 points. I'm making them all equal. You could make them more valuable by adding a 2 or 3 or 5 or something. You can also add extra bonus question score. So that's the end. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it small again. Go home, go to the top. Where are we? Over here. Go to the top. Make it small. And now we just want to go here. So this is question 1. Okay. Now here's question 2. What's the primary? This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. So answer 2 is B. So we want to put an asterisk there. And so I'm just going to put 1 every place where it's supposed to be. Which is the best practice? The answer is C. What time? What is the primary goal? The answer is B. Let me do the rest of these and I'll be right back. Okay, so what we've done is we put a point value here. We've marked each of the, either it's A or it's B or it's C or it's D. We've done that for every question. Here's one that we're missing. What is the primary goal of Okay, so we've marked all of them now. They're all marked. We'll notice when we import it as well, if there's an error, we'll notice that there's something wrong. So we're going to save it, make it large. We'll save it as browse. We can change the number if we want to 3, which I often do. So in case there's any corruption, we don't have a problem. Then what we're going to do now is we're going to go to TestMoz. We're going to do chapter 7. So let me open that up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a quiz or an exam, an online exam using multiple choice. Before I do that, I want to actually prepare the CSV so it's ready to go. So what I'm going to do is go back to the CSV, and I'm going to go to the top. I have 18 questions or something like that. I'm going to File, Save As, Browse, and what I want is I want to save it as a CSV UT8, comma delimited. That's what I want to save it as. Okay, and that's what TestMoz says to do. So now it's saved as that. Okay, so now we should be able to rock and roll with it. So what we'll do is we'll make it small, we'll move it out of the way. We'll move this out of the way. And what we'll do is we're in chapter 7 now. It's all we have to really remember. So we're going to go over to Testmoz. We're going to bring Testmoz in. And we're going to create a new test. And it's going to be called Webmaster Essentials, chapter 7. And it's version A. It's the first version. So we're going to create it. And now we're going to add questions. We're going to go to Other. We're going to import the questions. We're going to browse to it. We're going to go to it. It's kind of important to make a note where you save it to. Here we saved it to external drive in a folder for April 2023 in the class Webmaster Exam Chapter 1, 1+ it should say. We're looking for the R3 CSV. We're going to click on it here. We're going to open it. There it is. It took a little while for it to import it. If there's anything wrong with it, there's an error. It will tell you there's an error. But we have all the questions here. So we know there's 20 questions. The questions have the correct mark. It says the answer C, worth 1 point. So now all we have to do is we can insert this at the beginning. So now we have this. And then what we do is we go back to the explanations. That's what we need now. So we're going to do that. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is demonstrate how to add things and adjust things. So one of the things we like to adjust is if we see this, we don't want everything to be A. We'll make this C, and then we'll click on Add an Explanation, and then we'll grab the explanation here, Control C, and we'll put it here by just pasting it in. And we'll go down to question number 2. What is the primary purpose? We'll grab the explanation. It already says explanation, so if we copy explanation, it will be redundant. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back. We're going to click on Add Explanation. We're just going to paste it over the top of that. And then this is B and this is A. That's fine. And this is C. So we're going to change this to D. Clicking on this and going down. And just dragging it down, and now that's D, and then adding the explanation, which is the best practice. Grab that, and then just type it over the top of that, and then go to number 4. So I'm going to do all these questions, and I'll be right back. So here's an example of an error from an earlier working in the database or working in the Excel. So we have which of the following involves overwhelming websites. So we know it's not that. We know it's this. Well, it actually says D, so we can change it here. We can change the answer to what we want. And then we can put in an explanation. So I'm on my last one here, clicking on explanation, putting it in, and then coming down here and clicking on Save. And now before I finish this, I want to look to see this is B. This is B. So if we click on this, and then we click on this, we can move this down by holding this arrow, making this D. Then we'll make this C. Because this one's D. And this one's D. So that's not good. This is going to be B. Oops. I just want to move this up. And then I'm going to come here. This is B, so this is going to come down to C. And this is D, and this is A, and this is D. We'll make this C. Make this one C by clicking on this and pushing it up just a bit. And then this is A, and this is C, and this is B, and this is C, and this is B. We'll make this A. Doesn't change the answer, it just changes the position. I made an exam where everything was A. It was real easy to get 100%. You just mark everything A. So this is a D, this one was. Okay, so it's not the same one. So this is D, this is A, this is B, this is C. We'll make this A. Make this A. Make it A. And then this is A. We'll make this C. And then we'll make this D. And then this is C. This is C. We'll make this A. Now save it. Okay, now we're going to go to settings, and we're going to put in information here. So what I'm going to do is I saved this, so I'm going to go to a different test, and I'm going to go to, we'll go to Google Analytics here, and we'll go to just settings. And this is, I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to go back to tests, and I'm going to go to Webmaster Essentials 1, just settings. I'm going to put this here. This is chapter 7. Chapter 7 is a multiple choice exam. Okay, you're going to have 20 minutes to do 20 questions. We'll give you 25 minutes. And you have to get an 80. I'm going to make it 85. You can take it up to 3 times. Have fun. This is Webmaster's Essentials, right? That's right. That's what we created it as. We're going to use my corporate blue here. We're going to use it. No, we're going to use. What we want to do is we want to create a new. We'll just use TestMoz, but we want to create its own unique theme. Right now, we're just going to use the corporate, and then down here we're going to put show one at a time. Only allow the student to move forward after they answer. Don't show anything till the end. Randomize the questions. Yep. Conclusion. Thanks for taking the exam. Well done. Show a custom message. Needed 85%. Pass. Congratulations. No pass. So I put congratulations, you passed. No pass. You needed a score of 85% to pass this exam. Review and study to take the test again. You can take it up to 3 times. After 3 times, the exam will be changed to that of a fill in the blank or essay question. We're going to offer all these things after the exam. We're going to call this Web 7. That will be the name of it. That for the password, it'll just be Web 7 for Chapter 7. We're going to, in order to take this exam, you put in your name and email address. Now they can put in a different name and different email address, and then therefore they'd be allowed to take it more than 3 times. But I'll keep track of it. We'll disable the right click. We'll disable copy. We'll disable translate. We'll disable autocomplete. We'll disable spell check. Disable printing. And we will tell me where the score is. It's also on the administration dashboard, but it will just be sent to me. Now I'll save it. And so now we can see this is B and this is B. So that's this is C, and this is D, and this is A. This is B, and this is C, and this is D, and this is A. We're going to make this A. Move it up. And then this is C, and this is A, and this is C, and B, and this is C, and this is B, and this is D, A. You can change it up. So people say, what, you can change it around so people try to memorize the answers for certain questions. It will not work. We'll go to themes and tags real quick, and we'll create a new theme, and we'll call it Web. And put Okay, hide student login. Yeah, so we'll hide, we'll be able to get to the administration. That would be great. We'll just use all this. This is fine. We're going to use all this. This is all fine. Okay, so now we'll make the mouse over a little bit different. Maybe this. If we come here, you can see that we have this color here. So if we come here, we can make that color here. Paste it in there. So now they're the same. And this is this. Now we're going to save it. Okay, so now we're going to go back to tests. We're going to go to Web Essentials. We're going to go to just settings. And we're going to pick Webmaster. And we're going to show one at a time. Yep, check all this. Check this. Check this. Check this. Okay, over here we missed this. How many minutes do they get? They get 25 minutes. And how many times do they get to take it? 3 times. That's it. I can change the password at any time. I'll change it after I finish this video. Okay, so there's all that. Now if I go to publish, I can export it here. If I want to export it with the answers, I can export it. So I print it. Okay, here it is here. So if I want to go cancel this, if I want to go to show explanations, download it as a Word document. We only have version A, so we'll print it. We're going to save it as here. We'll save it as, it was in E, it was in April, it was in Webmaster, it was in Chapter 7. So this will be quiz, this will be Web Essentials L1 Chapter 7 with key. And we're going to check here. It doesn't give us an option, it's only DOC. So we'll save it. And now we're going to open it. Open, browse. Here it is here. And there it is. So this is like a key. And if you wanted to, if we wanted to do more, we could. Okay, so I'll just save this here. Come on, behave yourself. So I just go back. We want to put it with the Webmaster one. Yep. Okay, so there it is. And of course we can do the test as well. If we want to do the test, we can do it just without, just, you know, do it as a if I come and look for it, it's keeping other data for me. Isn't that cool? It's a DOC, so it can open it with something really old if you wanted to. So here we'll come here. We'll enable editing. Put a header in it, which was that. That's the name of the file. And we'll save it as docx, which is nice. So now we have an exam we could actually give out. If we wanted to give out an exam from like what we did last time to what we're going to do this time, you know, like a new version, we give out the old questions like they do on other exams. Here's it's telling us to be aware about how to do email and so forth, and we're going to publish it now. Okay, now it tells us where it is. This is where it is. So now if I click on this, I can do a it's open, so I can schedule it, so I can drip feed it if I want to, choose a date. So what I want to do is I want to go see it, and we're going to do a test. So I'll do doc test here. I'm doc, and my email address. Feel free to contact me if you want, make a comment or a complaint or something else, maybe an error that you saw. So that's my email address, and I'll start. Oh, it's an invalid passcode. Yes, yes, yes. Don't save it. Here's what it says. So there are Webmaster Essentials exams. Webmaster, this is what I put in the setup. Welcome to Dr. Palmere's Online Test. Chapter 7 is a multiple choice exam. This tells you what it is. Questions will be given one at a time. You have 25 minutes, 85%. Take this 3 times. Continue. We'll just make everything an A. We'll just make it all A just as a quality control. She get about a 25%, right? She get about 25% if a quarter of them are each of the different things. It's important to do quality control. Find an amicus valedore, which is Latin for friendly validator. Get somebody to take it for you. Marking A, all marking B, all marking C to see how we did. 4 to go. 3 to go. 2 to go. 1 to go. Oh, there's only 19. Oh, I didn't mark. See? You have to mark. I didn't mark it. And there we go. I got 20%. So that means 20% are marked A. It tells you. So now we can see. Oh, look. We have question 1 is A. Question 2 is also A. Well, that's interesting. Oh, it's because I marked A. Yeah. So sorry about that. Question 1, the answer is C. It's got a check mark. And question 2 is D. Question 3 is B, and so forth. And here's the explanation. It's good to have an explanation, even though it takes more time to create that working notes and, test preparation planning guide. But look at how cool that was. Well, we started out with ChatGPT. We use ChatGPT to completely make this easier, because this is a very weird spreadsheet where you have the question and we have basically row 1, and then we have the foils, A's in row 2, column 2, row 3, column 2, row 4, column 2, row 5, column 2, and the point values in row 1, column 2. We don't use this column, we delete it, right? So that's pretty cool. And so I could actually create a test. I did this the other day. I created 10 exams to see how it would work. I created the data for the spreadsheet in ChatGPT. The first one I did just by hand. It took like over an hour. Then I said I'm going to use ChatGPT. It took the entire test to create 20 questions, create the test, create the settings, publish the test, and edit it, make sure quality control. Totals 30 minutes. 30 minutes for a 20-item test. Really good. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at doc_palmere@yahoo.com. This video was originally made for Matt, then decided to morph it into anybody who's trying to use ChatGPT to generate data to be imported into TestMoz, which is absolutely fabulous. Congratulations, Matt. Thank you for making that. I would like you to tell me be at the end of the exam in settings, if it can tell me how many are A, how many B, how many C, or how many D, so I can just quickly look at that to see if they're evenly distributed. Making a test where the answer is A is kind of a giveaway. Okay, that's it for me. We're at I don't know where are we at in terms of time. We're at 41 minutes. I hope this was helpful to you. If you need to use it again, stop, pause the video so you can watch it again. Palmere, spaceforge.com. And if you need hosting, or if you're looking for SEO help, I can be reached at partner with no S, partnerwebhosting.com. Bye.